Welcome back, students. If you're following in the Lean Six Sigma White Belt slide deck, we are officially on slide number 21. So here it goes. I hope you enjoyed your little break and we're all ready to get back started. Here it goes. Business and Six Sigma approach to needs. Let's look at the first need, management. The classical focus was on how to reduce cost and how to reduce time. The Six Sigma focus is truly on maintaining the highest quality in terms of the product and the service. And in being able to remove all of the errors and mistakes and the unneeded steps in a process, not only are you going to be increasing quality, but you'll also be able to reduce process cycle time. So it's a win-win situation. Let's look at the need, manufacturability. The classical focus was on trial and error. We think this is the issue. We think these are the causes, and let's hope for the best. Whereas the Six Sigma focus is really on robust design and following the DMAIC methodology, where we define the quality problem, measure it, analyze, improve, and then control. So it's much more statistically based. There's less surprises. Because as a Lean Six Sigma white practitioner, what you're going to be doing is identifying your quality issue, also known as the dependent variable. And then once you identify what that quality issue is, identifying maybe 8, 9, 10 independent variables that are impacting your one dependent variable. So you might engage in a failure mode effect analysis, some fishbone diagrams to identify both your independent variables and your dependent variable. It's much more systematic and statistical in its approach. Now we have problems. The classical focus was on fixing the problem. Six Sigma focus is on preventing the problem in the first place. Take, for example, your washing machine. When it's turned on and you've pressed the power button and your clothes are being washed, and you try to open the lid on top, you can't open it. It's locked. That's a safety lock. Or think about you having an Android cell phone and you're accidentally trying to charge it with a iPhone charger. You can't. The charging outlets are different. Well, that's preventing the issue in the first place. Or someone forgets to put on their seatbelt in the car. The ringing doesn't stop until you put on your seatbelt. It's better that we prevent the problem in the first place than have to fix it after. This concept in Lean Six Sigma is known as mistake proofing, which we cover in future lectures. Next, we have problem solving. The classical focus was on expert-based. We're going to bring all the smart folks that know everything about quality and rely on them to tell us what's the best way of doing things, what they think the quality issues are, etc. No. In the Six Sigma focus, it's system-based. We're following a methodology known as DMAIC, We're getting everyone involved, not just the experts, because they recognize, you know, who the most experts are? Those are the employees that are the ones that are actually engaged in the processes themselves. They're the ones that are doing step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So who's in a better position than for us to understand, A, what are the processes? Do they all make sense? Are they in the order that they should be? Is there some steps that can be taken out or redundant or wasteful or not needed? We get everybody involved. And the employees themselves who do the work, if they're involved in the problem solving, then they're more willing to buy into the solution. Next, we have analysis. The classical focus was on experience. What has worked in the past? What could potentially work now? The Six Sigma focus is on data. Where are we currently in terms of the process cycle times or the lead times or the number of mistakes or the number of errors? What do we want the numbers to look like in the future? We're going to go implement an improvement plan and see if there was a statistical significant reduction in process cycle times, errors, mistakes, etc. More data oriented. Next, we have focus. The classical focus was on the product itself. The Six Sigma focus is on the process. What is a process? A process is simply a series of steps that leads to a specific output/outcome. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You know, it's funny. You can bring a whole team together and they can spend 2 hours hashing out what the process is. Some people on the team didn't even know what the entire process consisted of. Or did they disagree on process steps? Or not even knowing what those steps are. And with Lean Six Sigma, there's actually so much time devoted to process mapping. And if anything, at the very beginning, we get to see and let everybody decide on what exactly are the process steps, and then dig deep into which steps are needed. Should some of them be rearranged? Do some of them can be taken out, etc. So really cleaning up the process and making sure we are left with the most ideal process possible. Next, we have decision making. The classical focus is on intuition. Intuition is also known as that gut feeling of what the quality issue is. What are all the variables that can be contributing to that quality issue? And we just hope and cross our fingers that it works out, right? I have a strong intuition. This is what we have to do. Whereas the Six Sigma focus is on probability. What's the probability that variable X is causing the quality issue? What's the probability that quality independent variable X2 is causing the issue? What about X3, X4, X5, X6? And obviously, it's very time consuming and almost impossible. Let's say your team identifies 6 or 12 X's that are contributing to your quality problem, also known as your one dependent variable, also known as your quality problem, right? You're not going to tackle all those X's and fix them all. No. We focus on the vital few X's that contribute and have the greatest impact on the quality problem, and we fix those. That is known as the Pareto principle, which we'll be tackling later on. The Pareto principle basically states that if you focus on only 80% of the X variables that have the greatest impact on your dependent variable, then you're solving 80% of the quality problem. So basically, fix the vital few X's and you'll solve 80% of your quality problem. That is known as Pareto, the 80-20 principle. Lastly, we have goal setting. The goal setting in the classical focus is realistic perception, whereas the Six Sigma focus is reach out and stretch. Don't discount any employee's views of what the process is, what is the problem, what are the solutions, especially the ones that are doing the process day in and day out. They can tell you things that no expert is able to tell you. Stretch, be able to hear them out without judgment. That is key to effective goal setting. What is the practical meaning of being 99% good? Just looking at this, if you're 99% good, we consider that to be awesome, right? Not exactly. Not in the world. It's nowhere close to being at the Six Sigma level of excellence. So let's see what it means when we say we are 99% good. Here are some practical examples, situations met in real life. Six Sigma arose in response to this realization that we cannot and should not be willing to settle for 99% good. So here it goes. Practical meaning of 99% good. 20,000 lost articles of mail per hour. You wouldn't mind that, would you? So as long as you're not the one who's waiting on a very important piece of mail. And if you are, you wouldn't be happy, right? No, neither would I. Unsafe drinking water, almost 15 minutes each day. That's scary. 5,000 incorrect surgical procedures per week. I would not want to be in one of those surgeries. That's scary. 2 short or long landings at most major airports each day. 200,000 wrong drug prescriptions each year. No electricity for almost 7 hours each month. Let's look at 93.32% good versus 99.9996% good. Virtually no modern computer would function. 10,800,000 health care claims would be mishandled each year. 18,900 saving bonds would be lost every month. 54,000 checks would be lost each night by a single large bank. 4,050 invoices would be sent out incorrectly each month by a modest-sized telecommunications company. 540,000 calls and errors details would be recorded each day from a regional telecommunications company. That's a lot of call errors. 270 million credit card error transactions would be recorded each year. 270 million. Whew. That's a lot. Also, Six Sigma benefits others besides customers. When operations become more cost-effective and the product design cycle shortens, owners or investors benefit too. When employees become more productive, their pay can be increased. Six Sigma's broad scope means that it provides benefits to all stakeholders in the organization. So we do want to achieve the level of Six Sigma. But what exactly is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a statistical measurement. It tells how good our process and products are, allows us to draw comparisons to other similar or dissimilar products, services, and processes, shows how far ahead or behind we are with respect to our competitors, Six Sigma is also a business strategy. Customers care more about than just how well a product is manufactured. Price, service, financing terms, style, availability, frequency of updates and enhancements, technical support, and a host of other items are also important. It helps to improve product quality and reduce cost, captures customer needs and translate them into system or product requirements, helps to satisfy the customer, both internal and external. Six Sigma is also a philosophy. It shows how to work smarter and not only harder, stretching ourselves beyond capacity. Teaches us how to make fewer and fewer mistakes in everything we do at work and daily life. Now let's look for the business and the organization. It's customer focus, data-driven, robust methodology, let's look a little bit at the Six Sigma history line. Six Sigma is not actually a recent trend. In the 1980s, Motorola Incorporated, based in Illinois, and Robert W. Galvin, then the chief executive officer, pioneered the concept of Six Sigma, hoping to improve the quality of their pagers and cellular telephones. Motorola employed the techniques of Six Sigma in their internal training. The late Bill Smith, a reliability engineer at Motorola, is widely credited with originating Six Sigma and selling it to Motorola's legendary CEO, Robert Galvin. Smith noted that system failure rates were substantially higher than predicted by final product test. He suggested a number of possible causes for this phenomenon, including a dramatic increase in system complexity and the resulting opportunities for failure, and a fundamental flaw in traditional quality thinking. He concluded that a much higher level of internal quality was required, and convinced Galvin of the importance of setting Six Sigma as a quality goal. In 1981, one of Motorola's top 10 goals was the improvement of quality by 10 times. Before 1986, Bill Smith of Motorola's land mobile product sector first identified the key to company-wide defect reduction. He called this defects per opportunities, also known as defects per unit. This technique allowed Motorola to measure defects uniformly in all business sectors. In 1988, using the philosophies of Six Sigma, Motorola was among the first recipients of the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. The Six Sigma program sparked the interest of many organizations who approached Motorola in the hopes of imitating this customer-focused bottom-line approach. IBM, hoping to emulate Motorola's success, was one of the first companies to implement the Six Sigma techniques. Utilizing what they learned, IBM's Application Business Systems division, located in Rochester, Minnesota, went on to win the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in 1990. Let's proceed a little bit with these slides. Within 4 years, Allied Signal had made 240,000 process improvements and reduced defects by 61%, yielding $350 million in annualized cost savings. Larry Bossidy's success and initiatives were critical factors in influencing GE to undertake Six Sigma implementation. The next major event in the Six Sigma story occurred in 1991 when Jack Welch became Chief Executive Officer of General Electric Company. One of the first items on Jack's agenda was the restructuring of the entire GE organization, which consisted of 12 major businesses. Six Sigma implementation began on October 1995. Let's add that slide. In 1995, GE began its program with an average of 3 Sigma quality. Before 2 years had passed, their quality level had increased to 3.5 Sigma, and it is still growing. GE spent $450 million on a quality improvement in the first year alone. However, the Six Sigma investment has been offset by the profit increase, showing a bottom line improvement of $1.2 billion. Jack Welch took a $25 billion organization and turned it into a $90 billion customer-driven, extremely profitable quality company. So take a moment to look at the Six Sigma history. Started with the late Bill Smith, a reliability engineer at Motorola, created Six Sigma and sold it to the Motorola's legendary CEO, Robert Galvin. Let's review what happened in 1981. Motorola pioneered the concept of Six Sigma. In 1981, one of Motorola's top 10 goals was the improvement of quality by 10 times before 1986. In 1985, IBM implemented the Six Sigma techniques. 1988, Motorola wins top U.S. Quality Award, the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award, and also IBM wins the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award as well. Let's move on to 1994. Allied Signal implement the techniques of Six Sigma. There was 2,400 process improvements, 61% defect reduction, 350 million in cost savings. 1995, Six Sigma begins at GE, and it's still evolving, generation 3. I mean, the benefits are countless. It really starts with leadership, and as you can see, owners and presidents and CEOs really championing Lean Six Sigma to drive continuous improvement. If leadership truly believes in the DMAIC methodology and they're willing to support its employees in learning that methodology, as you can see here, becoming profitable, reducing money wasted, there's nothing better than that. Especially when you see someone like Jack Welch took it from a 25 billion organization and turned it into 90 billion customer driven, extremely profitable, quality company. Real Six Sigma evolution took place at GE. A lot of times my students ask me, Sandra, what type of company is Lean Six Sigma made for? And I say every company, every type of entity, because all entities have what? A process that can be improved on to reduce the waste, to reduce the errors, to reduce the long process cycle times. And in doing so, when you clean up the process and you think about the process steps and getting rid of what's not needed, quality cannot go anywhere but up. And improving the quality, you also see the reduction in money spent. It truly is a win-win situation. Let's now look at Sigma levels. The Sigma level indicates how often defects are likely to occur. The higher the Sigma level, the lower the likelihood of defects. A defect is anything that results in customer dissatisfaction. Therefore, as Sigma level increases, cost and cycle time decrease while customer satisfaction increases. Sigma levels continued. Most organizations currently operate at a 3 to 4 Sigma quality level. 66,800 to 6,210 defects per million, which is 99.73% performance, losing up to 25% of their total revenue due to defects. Let's look at Sigma level versus the number of defects. If you're operating at a Sigma level of 2, you have 308,537 defects per million opportunities. That's not good. If you're operating at a 3 Sigma level, you're going to have 66,807 defects per million opportunities. If you're operating at a 4 Sigma level, you'll have 6,210 defects per million opportunities. And if you're operating at a 5 Sigma level, you have 233 defects per million opportunities. Let's kind of explain what this concept of ppm and what it stands for. It's parts per million. The number of non-conforming parts out of a million parts. For example, a manager of a fast food restaurant observes that 20 out of the 1,000 customers waited more than 3 minutes for service. This means that 20,000 customers per million customers wait more than 3 minutes for service. It can be easier to understand the amount of improvement in capability when it is expressed in ppm rather than as a capability index. Suppose a process is improved and its CPK increases from 1 to 1.33. This change may not clearly indicate that the degree of improvement. However, you can also express this improvement as a significant decrease in ppm from 66,807 ppm to 6,210 ppm. So as you can see, as you move up in sigma levels, the less defects in your product or service. An example that's easy for my students to understand is imagine 1 million car widgets are coming down the assembly line. If you're operating at a 5 sigma level, only 233 of those car widgets will be defective out of the 1 million produced. Let's say the rear view mirror of a vehicle. If you're operating at a 4 sigma level, those rear view mirrors, if 1 million rear view mirrors were produced, only 6,210 of those would be defective. So looking at this thus far, do you want to be operating at a 2 sigma level, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Obviously, 6 would be ideal, because at the 5 sigma level, you're at 233. At the 6 sigma level, we're about to find out it's even better. Here it goes. The reason you're sitting in this class, your entity wants to operate at a 6 sigma level. 6 sigma level means that if you were to be in an assembly line and 1 million car widgets would, be coming down the assembly line, getting ready to be shipped to a supplier, out of those 1 million car widgets, only 3.4 of those would have defects. So you're looking at almost a perfect product or service. That's why our ideal goal is to operate at a 6 sigma level. Or imagine the example that we talked about in the first Lean Six Sigma White Belt lecture, the video lecture that came right prior to this one, right? We talked about the grande latte. If a barista was to produce 1 million grande lattes, only 3.4 of those would be defective. That's amazing customer experience, right? So we want to operate at a 6 sigma level. Let's look at this diagram. On the left, you see the defect rate per million opportunities. So it starts at 0.1 and it shoots up to 1 million. And then you see horizontally the sigma quality level. So at 1 sigma quality level, whoa, you're at 1 million defect rate. That's horrible. 2 sigma, it drops down a little bit. 3 sigma drops down a little bit, keeps going down. As you can see, the average company operates at what? Around 4 sigma quality level, maybe a little bit at a 4.5 sigma quality level. But see how it drops down, especially when you see best in class. The best in class companies, they truly are operating somewhere between a 6 sigma quality level. Let's continue on. At a between 3 and 4 sigma quality level, there's 66, close to 67,000 defects per million opportunities. And then when you get to about a 4.5 sigma level, you're looking at 6,210 defects per million opportunities. So remember the rear view mirror example I gave you? If a manufacturing company assembly line, if they were to produce 1 million rear view mirrors at a 4.5 sigma quality level, 6,210 of those mirrors would be defective. But see how that number plummets down when you're between a 5 and a 6 sigma level. So let's say it's about, I would measure it at about 5.5 sigma level. There would only be 233 rear view mirrors that are defective out of 1 million. We're getting better. But closer to a 6.5 sigma level, there would be only 3.4 defective rear view mirrors out of 1 million produced. So as an entity, what should you be striving for? You want to operate at a 1, 2, 3 level, 4 level, or closer to the 6th level? Definitely the 6th level. As you can see, there's a 10-time improvement from a 3 to 4 sigma. And there's a 30 times improvement from 4 to 5 sigma. And whoa, there's a 70 times improvement from a 5 to 6 sigma. Let's look at 6 sigma as a breakthrough strategy. Achieving the goal of 6 sigma requires more than small incremental improvements. Six Sigma does not undermine the value of any existing quality programs, but rather is one evolutionary phase of a complete quality strategy. Moving sigma levels is not linear. Each sigma level requires an exponential reduction of defects. In statistical terms, this means that the 6 sigma process approaches 0 defects. It requires breakthroughs in every area of operation. It takes considerably more work to go from a 5 to 6 sigma level than it does to go from a 3 to 4 sigma level. Some of the tools involved in 6 Sigma programs are quite familiar and may even be used in current quality initiatives, including benchmarking, cycle time reduction, design of experiments, process mapping, and quality function deployment. 6 Sigma is one evolutionary phase of a complete quality strategy. Let's examine the measured industry levels of sigma. At a 2 sigma level, we have close to 309,000 defects per million opportunities. That's not good at all. At a 3 sigma level, we're looking at close to 67,000 defects per million opportunities. 4 sigma, 6,200 defects per million opportunities. 5 sigma, 233 defects per million opportunities. And then obviously the best in the class where you only have 3.4 defects per million opportunities, that's a 6 sigma, okay? Then let's look at the examples associated with each one. The first one is the errors in IRS advice via telephone. In 1988, the errors was at 45%, 1990, 28%, and 1991, 9%. Can you see how things are getting better and the percentage of errors as you move up in 6 sigma levels? Y'all see that? When it goes from a 2 sigma to a 3 sigma in 1991. Now, let's go look at the 4 sigma very carefully. When it comes to restaurant bills, doctor prescription writing, payroll processing, airline baggage handling. As we move down, digital equipment company in 1990, only 233 defects per million opportunities. Motorola in 1990, and the Motorola's goal is to be best in class with only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. And honestly, when you're at the 6 sigma level, look at the domestic airline fatality rate, only 0.52 defects per million opportunities. You know, obviously, there's, problems everywhere, right? We can say that if you get a credit card error, it's not going to be as fatal as a car crash, right? Or as an airplane crash. Or if you have a credit card error, it's not going to be as fatal as if you're one of those people who are having a surgery and there's errors made during that surgery. There are certain situations where there are more life and death situations where 6 sigma is a must. But even when we just think about quality in every single day life, if you have a credit card error, we know how disruptive that is to our daily lives, how long you have to stay on the phone, and then you have to prove to them that you're not the one, that's just an error. You're not the one who went shopping at this place or that place, and the number of paperworks that you have to fill out. It is disruptive. And so it doesn't matter what entity that you're at, you have customers, internal customers, external customers, and the extent to which you can avoid those errors and the mistakes to begin with. And you have quality checks throughout, and you have extensive continuous employee training, and everyone is following the ideal standard operating procedures. You're going to be a long-standing company. You're going to be here for years to come. So as long as you're meeting the customer's needs and their expectations. And that's why you're sitting in this course, Lean Six Sigma White Belts. 6 Sigma organizational architecture. First, we have the CEO. And next to it is the business organization for maximum Six Sigma quality benefit. So the CEO, underneath the CEO, you got the quality leader, also known as QL/executive champion. They're championing it. They're like the cheerleaders. And they're going throughout the entire organization, especially at a foundational level, an elementary level, explaining to all of its employees the benefits of Lean Six Sigma, because that increases what? Buy-in. And if your employees are buying into Lean Six Sigma, then it's more likely to be effective, right? Because you can have a program that's amazing, but if nobody wants to follow it and there's tons of resistance, then even the best laid out program that actually works won't work, because you'll have employees that don't want to change, right? And then you have the VP. So when it comes to the quality leader/executive champion, you have your master black belts. That's the highest level in the world of Lean Six Sigma certification. So right now everyone's in the white belt course. This is a very, it may not feel like it, but it's a very elementary foundational level of Lean Six Sigma, just so you appreciate it. You understand core concepts, but it doesn't really dig deep into statistics just yet. You'll get that definitely dab into it more in the yellow belt classes and the green belt, and definitely lots of statistics in the black belt courses. So if you guys are interested, definitely reach out to me. So we plan out a path to success so you do earn your master black belt. And then you have the vice president. Those are champions, those that champion the Lean Six Sigma program. And you have the process owners, right? Because what are you trying to do? You're trying to clean up the processes. And so you need to have at least one owner for each of the processes, and you work together as a team to outline what are the process steps, get everyone to agree on them, and how do we clean up the process itself. Are we going to remove steps? Are we going to add steps? Are we going to change the steps? Are we going to tweak things around? That's through a process known as process mapping, which we get into more later on. Under the master black belts, you have the black belts. So they're the ones who are doing the nitty-gritty work. They're the ones that are defining the quality problem, measuring it, analyzing, improving, and controlling. They're the ones that are creating the business charters. They're the ones that are doing the project goals. They're the ones that are setting the timelines, doing the Gantt charts, all that fun stuff. These black belts are responsible for completing their Lean Six Sigma project from beginning to end. They are writing the reports out. They are giving the presentations on what the results were. Well, how much did you reduce the gap in quality? How much did you save your company from going from 20,000 defects per year down to 1,000 defects per year? They are responsible for the project from beginning to end. Now, underneath the black belts, you got the green belts. Some green belts will be responsible for collecting the data, analyzing the data, conducting the process mapping sessions, training employees, creating the improvement plan, making sure that the employees stay on track in completing the Lean Six Sigma project. So you can see the hierarchy, that on top is the master black belts, underneath them are the black belts, and then underneath them are the green belts. And you guys might be thinking, well, we're sitting in a white belt class. What do we do? Well, we've gone through foundational training, elementary training, and we bought into the world of Lean Six Sigma. We appreciate the benefits, and we assist the green belts in whatever is needed. But mostly it's for acceptance, and it's for understanding and not to resist when the changes start taking place. You will be involved in the decision making. An ideal situation, when done right, everyone is involved in Six Sigma decision making. Then lastly, you have employees. Employees need to be involved because obviously they're the ones that are going to be impacted. They're the ones that are probably going to have to change the way they do things, right? Let's look at the Master Black Belt responsibilities. And you see that little logo. You too can become a certified Six Sigma Master Black Belt. If you're interested, do reach out to me. That is the highest level of certification, and that's the highest belt that I have as well. So Master Black Belts are typically assigned to a specific area, such as human resources or legal, or to a process-specific area, such as billing or tube rolling. Master Black Belts work with process owners to ensure that quality objectives and targets are set, plans are determined, progress is tracked, and education is provided. In the best Six Sigma organizations, process owners and Master Black Belts share information daily. This is not set in stone. I've seen entities where Master Black Belts are more like teachers or more like coaches, and they go throughout the organization training people on Lean Six Sigma and helping to do the training and the teaching. So other professionals can become black belts and actually complete the projects. And I've also seen situations where the Master Black Belt behaves like a black belt, and they're the ones that are responsible for completing the entire Lean Six Sigma project from beginning to end. So that's defining the problem, measuring it, analyzing it, improving, and controlling. So I've seen it both ways depending on how much maturity the entity has with Lean Six Sigma and how long Lean Six Sigma programs have been with the organization. With respect to black belt responsibilities, they constantly digest process data, generate questions, probe traditional thought, test everything with data analysis, and they shift those results back to real-world applications. Truly talented black belts are multilingual in that they speak the language of the process and the language of statistics. So when you right now you're in the white belt class, but then there's the yellow, and then there's the green, and then there's a black belt. When you're in the black belt, you're gonna be exposed to Minitab statistical software program. You'll get a 6-month subscription with the course when you sign up for it, and you really get to play around with statistical analyses in that course. So here it goes. Black belts are at the heart and soul of Six Sigma quality initiatives. Black belts' main purpose is to lead quality projects and work full-time until the projects are complete. Black belts can typically complete 4 to 6 projects per year with savings of approximately $230,000 per project. Black belts also coach green belts on their projects, and while coaching may seem innocuous, it can require a significant amount of time and energy. Now let's look at green belt responsibilities. Green belts are employees trained in Six Sigma who spend a portion of their time completing projects, but they maintain their regular work roles and responsibilities. Depending on their workload, green belts can spend from 10% to 50% of their time on their projects. As your Six Sigma quality program evolves, employees will begin to include the Six Sigma methodology in their daily activities. Six Sigma across the globe. So we're looking at the Sigma level and Six Sigma across the globe. Asia, about 2.5 Sigma levels. Europe, let me look at that very carefully, around 3.5 Sigma levels. USA around 4 Sigma levels. Japan, let's move it close to 5 Sigma levels. And then next to it, you see the chart of the cost of poor quality in terms of percentage revenues. And the cost of poor quality is costing Asia the most at around almost 25%, Europe around 15%, US 10%, Japan around 5 to 10%, and then if you're operating at a 6 Sigma level and 7 Sigma levels, they have the least cost of poor quality because the processes are the most finely tuned. So gap A, between the US and Asia, there's a huge loss of revenue. Gap B, between Japan and rest of developing nations in Asia. Gap C, between economic giants. Real competition is for the #1 position in quality of products and services. And I would say that the more there is competition, the more vital it is to pay attention, focus on your processes and how they can be improved, right? Because you want to be in the game for the long run. Gaps in 6 Sigma level are driving critical to economy factors of countries across continents. And this is a great place to stop because we're reaching almost 57 minutes of lecture. So in the next video, we're gonna cover and start from the slide known as 6 Sigma companies and products. At this time, take a 15 to 20 minute break, clean up your notes. If you feel like you've already done enough for today, then take your time to put your notes away and then start a new video tomorrow. It's up to you. I always tell students that they can go as fast as they want with these lectures or as slow. And because this is a recorded video, there's no one's rushing you and saying, okay, you got to get through these, how much is it? 142 PowerPoint slides for the Lean Six Sigma white belt. You got to get it done through 1 week, or you only have 2 weeks. There's no one rushing you. Enjoy the experience, take notes, and truly master the content that's being presented. Take it as slow or as fast as you want. I've had some students that were so dedicated. They said, I know I want to earn my master black belt. I'm going to master the white belt. Afterwards, I'm going to earn my green belt and then my yellow belt, then the green, and then the black, and the master black belt. And they're ready. Or they may not be working, so they can devote 8 hours a day to this content. Then there's others that are working full times. They have a lot of other life responsibilities, and they take it slowly, only 1 video. And because these are recorded videos, you can go as slowly or as fast as you want. That's the beauty of not being in a live class. And remember, when you get to the black belt course and the master black belt course, after the whole, all the videos are done, you've gone through all the lessons, after you take the exams, you do have that once a week group Zoom meetings where we discuss various project requirements and ultimately help you complete your 1 required black belt project and your 3 required master black belt projects. So if you're interested in that, please do reach out to me. So that's it. This is the second lecture as it relates to Lean Six Sigma white belt, and I look forward to seeing you in the 3rd lecture for the course Lean Six Sigma white belt. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.